Hi guys, it's Michelle Patterson here with Angel Souls, and this is your weekly Angel Oracle card reading for the week beginning November 9th, 2015. This week I think I'm going to use the Magdalene Oracle, you know I love it, by Tony Carmine Salerno. And then of course pulling a color card from the Inna Segal deck, The Secret Language of Color Oracle Cards. So, if you would like a personal reading with me, just go to my website at angelsouls444.com, the services page. And of course, if you'd like to support me on Patreon, I will leave all that information down below. If you're curious about this print I have behind me, I will leave the artist's website in the description box so you can go and check out all the stuff that she does. Her name is Sonia Shannon, and I got to meet her, and she's so beautiful. She's really wonderful. So let's get to it. I know last week we had kind of an odd... I want to explain this to you this week, kind of looking back. You know, I had done the previous week's reading, and I think I did that one outdoors, and it just felt very light and uplifting. And then I don't know what it was about Thursday, I think, or whatever, there was this urgency to get another message out. And sure enough, the energy had shifted. Like, what was it, the next day there was the Russian plane crash, and we don't know how that happened, or at least I haven't recently read what their latest thing is on what happened there. There was a shooting here in Colorado Springs on a day when I typically would have been downtown. Just very odd things going on, and people kind of acting out. I know I've had it out with some people around. Not had it out. That sounds like a fight. It wasn't a fight. It was just sort of a debate about certain things going on around this building. So just weird energies, and I know a lot of you out there also are card readers, so I'd be curious to know like how your clients were reacting. You know, I wasn't getting too many super weird comments. I mean, certainly there have been energies that have been a little more intense, but you know, there were some people who just really wanted to control the knowledge, and they really wanted to filter that through. And I think that was just their minds having to, I don't know, put some sort of justification around what they were experiencing or what they were witnessing. So that was interesting. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. So let's see what this week holds. I'm really just going to clear out here. I do feel a more loving energy, but this is more of an intense kind of love. Okay, so let's see what's going on there. And I would encourage you to breathe with me, especially during a shuffle, and focus your energies. Okay. Mythic reality. Past lives. Eternal embrace. War and peace. Okay, so the intense loving feeling that is coming up, I don't want to use the word fight, but you're going to have to choose it. You're going to have to choose love this week. If you choose love, and this is love of every kind, okay? If you choose love this week, it will be greatly rewarded, okay? We still have kind of a continuation of what was happening last week, although it feels less heavy. Again, if you look at last week's reading, and I would encourage you to go back and look at it again and just see how things kind of played out in your world and what it meant for you. Sometimes we don't know until it actually comes to pass. But, yeah, there was that urgency there, and that urgency is gone this week. I just heard aftermath. So this might be us dealing with the after, and I'm getting, okay. Oh, okay. I don't know if this has ever happened on video before, but on occasion, something happens, and as crazy as it sounds, it kind of gives me like a twitch. It's like tingles coming through, and it's almost like I can't control what happens to my body in that moment. I know that's kind of weird. I'm just giving you the Cliff's Notes on that. But that is how spirit sort of affects me at times. That was a big rush of spirit that just came through. Now, some of you might be experiencing that as well. Again, there it is again. Sometimes I think it's no mistake that these things happen on camera so that you can maybe look at your own situation and go, hey, that happens to me all the time. I just thought I was just freaking out. I thought I had a physiological thing going on. maybe, I mean, maybe you do, but I know that that's what happens for me, that spirit is passing through. So let's talk about this week. Let me hang with this. There's a parting of ways. It's like the good kind of are choosing the love. They're choosing the light path. And then the ones who don't want to ascend, okay, they're choosing their reality. And you're watching them fall apart. Wow. You know what? I'm not even kidding you. Right before I started doing this video, I came across a photo of somebody that I knew. And I was like, oh, I wonder how they're doing, you know? And I was going to reach out to them, and I was kind of looking them up, and I saw some photos, and I basically saw photos of this person out drunk, hanging around a bunch of women. And I just remember thinking, oh no, he's going off the cliff. Oh no. Talk about deciding not to ascend. I mean, God bless you if that's the path you're going to go down, but dang, to put it out there like it was just a little weird. But I don't know, that just popped into my head. But the feeling I'm getting is that like there's going to be a bit of a divide, and then we're going to come back together in some way. But some people are going to choose to not ascend. And can you say it clear, please? I don't know what this means. Okay, so I'm feeling like whoever's choosing not to ascend, let me try to explain this. Whoever's choosing not to ascend, their actions will only affect themselves in some way. I hope that I'm saying that right. But the people, yeah, okay, so the people who are, I'm sorry, this is so inarticulate, hang with me here. The people who are choosing the love, okay, you're going to remain in that protective bubble, okay? Now, if God forbid anything else comes to pass in this coming week, it does not mean that the victims had it coming, okay? That's not what that means. You know, who knows, okay? I mean, who knows how, I mean, remember, free will, someone can invoke their free will over someone else's. But if they're choosing fear, or they're in a low vibration, or remember, doubt, guilt, shame, all those are low frequency kinds of things, you know, that again, that doesn't mean that they drew it in and they deserve it or whatever, but yeah, it's kind of a complicated message they're giving me here, and I don't know how to articulate it. Just choose the love this week and tell everybody else to choose the love. Okay, now this does not mean that you're in denial about your feelings. This does not mean, you know, oh God, they're coming in with all kinds of stuff, guys. Hold on. Some people who are going to just remain in the middle, sort of just kind of bumbling around and not really having made a decision, they're going to be deeply affected by anything else that the people who are specifically choosing not to ascend, okay, they're going to be affected by that energy. So these are people who can get pulled in by what they see on the news. These are people who might even go to that side, right? Because someone on that side has been like, are you kidding? Ridiculous. Meditation's a fad. What are you doing that for? Come on. How could you not be mad at that situation? You should totally be mad. And they get drawn into it, okay? Now, I want to reiterate again, God forbid, if anybody's a victim of anything, not viewers, but just anybody out there in the world is a victim of anything in the coming week, it does not mean that they deserved it, okay? There are some energies about on the earth, again, that are invoking their free will over other people. I just feel like I really need to drive that home. Okay, so this draws us into the mythic reality. So this card is saying, what, again, it's more the same. It's like what you're seeing and what you're witnessing, don't get pulled into it. It's a delusion, and it's meant to scare you, okay? And did we talk about this last week? There's like sexual conditioning. There is over-sexualization of, sorry guys, I hope this isn't too weird for you. Over-sexualization of our society. And that's meant to dumb you down. It's meant for you to be in your base nature. Now, I'm going to get back to this part here in a second. They're just taking me off on a different thing here for a second. Sexuality is actually a very powerful manifestation tool, okay? It's your creative force. And when used appropriately, can be very, very beneficial in your world and in bringing beautiful things in. And of course, to make a love connection. But that's not what we honor in this day and age, right? Unplug. Unplug. I know the mythic reality, I think what this is showing is like, you know, there's a rainbow there and there's all this stuff. I mean, you could choose the sort of like the rainbow consciousness or whatever. You can choose to go that way and not give in to the darker part. The thing that, remember we said last week, not everything that you're being fed is real. So by making you believe that you have to look a certain way, that you have to approach love relationships in a certain way, look at all the male conditioning. You're supposed to want to sleep around with as many women as possible. Well, what happens then? You never activate a deep love within you, right? And so, number one, you're getting robbed of that experience, but also you're in your very base nature. You never kind of get past the shallow aspect of that, okay? And then we have the female conditioning, right? Which is saying you're not good enough. You'll never be good enough. You're never going to be sexy enough. Don't get old. Don't you dare gain weight. Even if you had twins, don't you dare gain weight, because then you're not going to be good enough. So just, I mean, these are like extreme examples I'm giving here just to make the point. But really just try to open your awareness this week. And even write it down. How are we being programmed? How are we being programmed? What kind of foods are we being programmed to eat? What's the other side doing? I know I'm right in this debate. I know. I have come across plenty of people who go way too far on the other side of things. They go way too far. They're like, oh, food is evil. And they're taking the same approach that the programmers are, because they think that that's going to fight the programmers. I mean, maybe. Who am I to say? But I know it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel comfortable. So there is not invoking fear and trying to fight or push back on something, but just have some quiet knowledge, some quiet epiphanies about how am I being controlled? What the heck's going on here? This is a week of choosing love and taking your power back. Okay? It's not going to happen overnight. You were certainly not programmed overnight. So it's not going to be undone overnight. So just be patient. Okay. So they're asking me to hold this up again. Yeah, the best way I could put it is just try to unplug from this stuff. This does not mean that you unplug from life. It doesn't mean that you whatever. But the next time, let me give you another example. Sorry, it's going to be the longest video ever. I was just reading a women's magazine. I can't even tolerate those things anymore. I just can't. It's just stupid. Like it used to, I'm getting feisty now. It used to just be kind of like, oh, that's annoying that they're only showing this kind of woman or they're doing this. But even like the stories are like, what are we talking about here? But I started getting smarter. And I started looking at it through a different lens, through different eyes and from a different perspective and going, wait a minute. Really? Okay, this is the same nonsense that we're getting fed over and over and over again. How to have your best abs. This is how you be really good in bed. And oh God, try to read one of those articles. Those make me laugh now. I'm like, come on. That's not even sexy. Come on. Like, whatever. I could make a whole video on that. But I can't even give in to the crap. And yes, I'm going to use that word crap that are in these women's magazines. And guys, you only comprise about 18% of my audience. Go get your buddies to watch this channel. We need more men here, okay? We need you to represent. So please leave a comment down below about what it's like to pick up a men's magazine. And what kind of conditioning are you seeing? What kind of stuff are you being fed? It's simply not true, right? They're also reminding me, they're laying it down. Okay, so they're also telling me to pass along that there then is this, so they're talking about female conditioning. So we're conditioned to want a certain, people are going to be like, oh, it's biology, it's evolution. Fine. I'll give it to you, fine. But there's something about female conditioning that then makes us look at men who are actually good, who would be great love partners, and us not wanting to go for that. We want to go for the completely the one who's just not even interested in us and not even interested in treating us like a human being. So what does that mean? Okay. Why do we as societies kind of go after love partners that they don't have the purest intention? It's the conditioning. Although I did see it in the animal kingdom a little bit. Funny little side story. I was at the zoo. I'm always at the zoo. But I was at the zoo, and there was this one male peacock, and he was doing his little mating dance, and this female peacock, she wanted nothing to do with it, and she was not chasing, but just like following this other peacock who was not trying to put on a show for her, and he was like completely disinterested and just like walking away. And I thought, that is so what we do. That is so what we do. Like the guy who's like making an effort, although this peacock was, showboating a little bit, but like, the one that's making an effort and is interested, we're like, no, thank you. Goodbye. I'm going to go after this one who's walking away from me and who won't even turn around and pay attention to me. So again, this is a whole week. It's another big message this week. So this is a whole week where you just have to really just start paying attention. Just really pay attention. Yeah, I could go on and on. This is like kind of feeling like, especially with women, like I almost feel like I can hear women going, oh, I have to lose 20 pounds. And they might be like this big. I have to lose 20. Where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that from? And, or guys will only like me if I do this, this, and this. Who says? Right? This is the kind of thing that you need to start asking this week. Where'd that come from? And why am I choosing to believe it? Okay. Next card. That was just the first card. How about that? All right. Past lives. We incarnate to learn lessons. And they're bringing this up and saying every single person who's here right now is repeating some big lesson. And if you think you're not, well, you're more spiritually advanced than I am. But most of us here are here trying to work out some bit of karma, something, we never learned fully or whatever. But they're also saying those lessons are repeating because this is a big time for us in humanity. A lot of us came back for our ascension, but yeah, here we go. It's a culmination life where a lot of those old lessons are coming back for good reason, to sort of remedy them or to finally put them to rest. Do you know what I mean? Right, and to change the way we view each other and to change that conditioning. So some of these things are going to come up and be rattling us a little bit this week. Maybe not rattling, but you just look at it. But again, if you're coming at it from a state of awareness, you're going to see it and be like, there it is. Why do I keep doing that? Why do I keep, repeating this same, but why do I keep going after those jobs? Or why do I keep these kinds of friends around me? They don't even care about me. They don't care about themselves. Whatever it is for you, you're going to see, and it's going to have a very deep kind of effect on you. It's going to like stir your soul a little bit, and you'll recognize that it is in fact one of those past life things that you're supposed to be working through. Okay. So then we have eternal embrace, which goes hand in hand with this here past life card. Okay. So eternal embrace to me indicates this involving a person from a past life, or someone from your soul family, or someone that you have this cycling lesson with. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Ain't none of my business. I don't know who's coming back for you. I don't know. Maybe it's not somebody you've ever even known in this lifetime, but you've known them in a past life, and they're coming back around. It could be that bad boyfriend, or that really stuck-up girlfriend who, for incarnation after incarnation, they've always had control over you, or you've always had control over them, whatever, and it's coming back. But the idea here, remember what we said before, choose love, because that soul would not come back around or even agree to come back in and deal with you anymore, or you with them, if there was not some bit of love there. It's an agreement. You're saying, okay, all right, you want to go back in and try this again? Yeah, fine. Well, when will I meet you? How about when you're about 35? Okay, fine. I'll be about 40. Fine. I'll come find you, or whatever. I'm imagining this is how soul contract conversations go on. It's probably fancier than that, but whatever. So this eternal embrace is saying that there's God. That's a thick cord. Let's put it that way. There's someone that you just keep boomeranging around and just, you're coming back. Now, does that mean every single person watching this is going to have someone coming from a past life coming back in? No, but there's going to be some, again, that awareness is the buzzword for this reading and for this week. So there's going to be some awareness around a person connected to a past life issue, let's say, or whatever kind of karma you're trying to work out. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means for each individual. So apparently it's going to be very different. So I guess we will see. Now, the fourth card we have is War and Peace. I think this is going to be a week. If you look at this card, there's like a spotted heart there. There are these crosses, which indicates religion, these kinds of things. There's going to be a differing of opinions. The spotted heart, they're saying, is representing for people who are choosing basically choosing the light and choosing to be good people, which is most people, I think. That's some of the hurt that you're going to be working through this week, all right, and cleansing your heart. For others, this is sort of a warning to beware of the person with ill intent. Now, that could be someone with ill intent because they want to get into a relationship. It's like relationship heavy, isn't it? Relationship because they want to control you, or we're talking about sexuality, it's a big theme. Maybe they want to use you for sex, but they're trying to present like, we have this soul connection. Yeah, maybe they're from a past life. Maybe you do have this soul connection, but they're just in to make trouble. Okay? So while you're trying to maintain the peace within you, as we always try to do, right? Someone's going to be trying to make war. Now, I just heard psychological war, and that feels like that is on a global level as well as the individual level. So let me see if I get anything else on that. That's what all the programming is. Yeah. Messing with our psychologies and making us believe certain things. But, that, I'll leave that up to each person about how much you want to get into that. Because you go too deep into it and now you're back into the fear. So, careful, right? But there's going to be a lot of fighting over belief systems. And the more we start, remember we said we're going to do this and then we're going to come back together. So the more people start to divide, the more fighting there could potentially be. But you choose the peace, you choose the love. Don't get into a game of blaming or pointing fingers or, this person should be let that go, guys. Let it go. All right, let's get to the color card. And let's see what's coming up for us. It's a heavy, isn't that weird? I thought this would be like a really nice kind of light month. I don't know why. I'm kind of exhilarated by these messages because I feel like we're getting to like the meat of things, right? Some actual deep knowledge. All right. Black. Find richness from the dark of night. The number is 28. This is what is happening. So this is what we've been living in, okay? We're living in the black. But there's light back here, all right? We have to provide. Now, this is not to give an inflated sense of importance. Again, I could make a whole video on people who do that. Ugh, I don't like that. But especially this sort of like piercing light right there. This is what we are meant to provide. And they're even saying this is where we are right now. And yes, there's still the darkness. And yes, there's still the black or whatever, the shadow aspect. But look, the light is already dawning. It's already here. It's just got to get brighter and brighter. And it can get brighter and brighter the more we let go of our conditioning and stop thinking that we have to live in the shadow because we've been told that that's where we belong. We've been told that this is as good as we are. But we're going to let that go now. Or at least you're going to start to do that this week. I'd also recommend doing some cleansing meditations. Archangel Michael is a great angel to be with or to work with this week. Jeremiel for all the past life issues, things like that. You can work with Metatron as well. Actually, am I wearing my pendant? Yes, this is my Metatron pendant. So work with Metatron as well. They can help you. But, you know, again, if you don't remember any of that, just say, angels of love and light, please come in and help me, and they'll be there for you. Okay? Let's end it there. 25 minutes. They've been long messages. So anyway, I'm sending you guys so much love. Remember to choose love and choose peace. Take care.